Good evening. My name is Brian Davis, and I am a graduate student at Liberty University in the History Department. Welcome to my home. Today I'm going to discuss James Byrd's book, Sacred Scriptures, Sacred War, the Bible and the American Revolution. I'm going to specifically speak on the chapters, The Liberty Wherewith Christ Hath Made Us Free, Peter, Paul, and Apostolic Patriotism. While many of those involved in the revolution from the American side struggled with the Apostle Peter and the Apostle Paul's admonition to honor civil authority, especially the Loyalists, the Patriots took the stance that loyalty was due to just rulers and not to tyrants. And they believed that George III and his government had become tyrannical. Preachers were divided over this issue on both sides of the Atlantic. Paul had ordered Christians to obey civil authorities in Romans 13. In 1 Peter 2, 13 through 17, Peter had also ordered Christians to obey civil law and its leaders. Since God had placed these men into positions with specific instructions to honor the king. Across the ocean in England, John Wesley, the founder of the Methodist movement, had targeted revolutionaries in his A Calm Address to our American colonies. Wesley cautioned colonists against following what he called designing men that only had their own interest at heart. John Fletcher, another Methodist minister, had implored the king to subdue the Americans with the sword. And when he wrote the Bible and the Sword sermon. Fletcher also said that the sin of slavery was a cause of this insurrection, and it was caused by a punishment from a just God. Fletcher believed that it was the duty of the king to punish the colonists for their insurrections. An American preacher, Charles Inglis, also preached against the revolution with the same Bible passages, even writing that being against the king was being against Christ. Inglis had also had a particular anti-Jewish slant to his messages. On the counter-argument was Jonathan Mayhew, that he preached fervently in his sermon in 1749, and he argued against submission to unjust rulers. David Jones preached that loyalists were wrong at looking at earthly monarchs as higher powers, using Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego as examples of not following unjust laws. He took the position that the apostles themselves had refused to obey unjust laws. He also took the position that the English and the Protestants, the Anglicans, had refused to obey the Pope. The Protestant Reformation, Henry VIII's regaling against the Pope. And he used those examples to show that we should not obey what we believe to be tyrannical rulers or those that did not follow God's law. The apostle refused to obey tyrannical rulers of the Romans. They were imprisoned for their refusal to obey these rules. And he used the example of the Apostle Paul, how Paul, as a Roman citizen, just as the Americans, as Englishmen, had been denied their rights by the British government. There was also the issue of religious freedom, especially among the Baptists, where patriots such as Baptist John Leland and Isaac Bacchus argued that religious liberty was just as important as civil liberty. In summary, the American revolutionary position was that a ruler that failed to honor the laws from which they ruled had given up their just authority to rule. But once a just government was established, it was our Christian responsibility to obey just rulers and not fall into the anarchy that had occurred during the French Revolution. In summary, also, before and since the days of the American Revolution, the idea of an absolute obedience has proven farcical. It's especially true when we look at leaders such as Hitler, Mao, Stalin, Pol Pot, the Kims of North Korea. These men are obviously unjust rulers that do not obey God's law and should not be obeyed. And in those cases, the people of those lands must also disobey those tyrannical rulers, as our forefathers here in America disobeyed our tyrannical rulers. God bless you, and have a good day.